Hello guys, it's Sakuems. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to introduce a new series called the Colors series. So that's basically a series that I wanted to work on for a long time, where I force myself to work only with a certain color or a group of color, but a very limited palette, because for two reasons. The first reason is because I love to work with colors, but I do feel like sometimes I tend to work too much on the rainbow kind of color ambience. So it forces me with this series to still have fun, because I can implement and work with the colors and based almost the artwork on the color that I've picked. But it also forces me to, challenge me a bit more, having to limit myself to a certain group of color and try to create a contrast and a feeling to it, to my artwork, with a limited palette, because I can't use, I guess, the excuse of having a multicolor type of character. So I figured it would be interesting for me to work with those in the color series. So in terms of actual style or the themes I'm going to use in that series, it can really vary from time to time. It might just be some storytelling artwork, it could be a little bit more in depth, or just simple portraits, or what a color can maybe bring to me in terms of emotions, or what I feel like is going to be more green or more blue or things like that. I do also feel like sometimes it's nice to implement into the artwork certain objects or certain flowers or items, real life items that can be pursued as said color. So for example, if I was, I do have the intentions to incorporate maybe gemstones or rocks or little, I don't know, not necessarily flowers, but just little things that you would think about when you think of the color. Like for red this is red. For this video, for example, I didn't really have any intentions. It was pretty last minute to work on this, but I did feel like the character that I've picked, this is from my Inktober challenge from like 2 years ago, and I picked her because she looked very peaceful and very still, and also the face structure is kind of different and the emotion is different, and everything about her was screaming to me blue, and I really just like the fact that I've used that character for the red color, because I guess it just creates a nice contrast to have such a bold, violent, say, color, but with a very peaceful character. And so, I don't know, I guess it just made sense to me to just work with that. But I could also do it the opposite way, and maybe do someone that is a little bit more into the intensive emotions, whether like it's anger or just very expressive, and use just blues, for example. So yeah, I figured it would be a nice touch also for me to try to work also with my tablet for once, because I do also a lot of digital artwork, and I haven't done really any for like a past year. So I figured in this series I can also have a bit more fun, and I will definitely maybe work more with digital, because it's a lot easier, to be honest, working a monochromatic type of character or artwork with the computer than using just markers or pens or paint. Because whenever I use pencils or markers, it's really hard for me to limit myself, because I do have a lot of different reds and pinks. I do have a lot of different hues in the same color family, and it's the urge for me to still add something else to the artwork. I can't just do red, so, or like just one color, so it's pretty hard. But with the computer, what I really liked with the way I did it, because I've used Clip Studio Paint Pro, I was able to really focus myself on the red, still like a lot of different reds, but I was using more like a pinky red, more of a pastel, like salmon color. I've used a lot of the of like a deep magenta still, but it was still in the red family, and I really tried my best to focus on that, but I still was able to create some sort of contrast by using a dark purple for the outline and a tiny bit of blue, but I really tried my best to blend it And as for my very light shade, it is still of a, I would like to say, a orangey type of red, but it's very light. So overall, I do think that when you work with a limited palette, what matters is just what is the main color. It's not about sticking just to one color. It's called a camailleux in French. It's when you use somehow somewhat the same family, so it can be a variety or a diversity of different reds that can travel from a pinky red to a more of a yellowy vermilion color, which is more of a pinky warm tone red. And you can do that with every color. So I really enjoy working on this. There's no name for some reason, so if you have any ideas, suggestions, I did keep the original sketch. She had butterflies, but I just felt like it was too much on her shoulders, so I only added a couple butterflies from a pack. I've altered the colors just a tiny bit so they fit the general color ambience that I've used. And yeah, that was really interesting for me to work on this. I do love the software that I've used, so if you don't know about this, it's a very like user-friendly and very illustrative oriented like digital software. It's not really meant to edit picture, although you can do it. I did most of the little edits with the texture and everything on Photoshop because I know that software a lot more for like color variations and to add a bit more contrast. But for the shading itself and the drawing and all the illustration was done on a single layer, and it's done on Clip Studio Paint Pro, and I really highly recommend. It's a pretty affordable software, and I am using it every time I want to actually do a digital artwork, so I will highly recommend you check that out. And I think I covered what I had to say for this artwork. I hope you will enjoy watching me try, again, new things. This is kind of different from what I usually do. It's still like one of my go-to girls, but I just feel like the style is kind of different, and the emotion is different, and just the way I did things is slightly different. So I will definitely use more of that series to try to have more fun and yeah, and see where this brings me. So if you have any suggestions for future videos in the color series, anything you really want to see, if you want me to maybe work with something completely different, so no pinks for example, then just post a comment below and tell me what you would like to see. And I think that will be it. So thank you for watching this video, you guys. If you'd like to get this as a print, I do have it on my shop, and link will be in the description below the video. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye, guys.